All right, welcome back, everybody. It's another exciting Saturday on Venting with Us. Yes, I hope everybody had a great week. I was literally on my deathbed the whole week. I'm like, this headache is just not going away. I'm just like, but I think I've kind of figured out what's going on. I've been eating a lot of carrots and celery, and I think that's what's making me sick, which will make me sad because I do love my carrots and my celery. So, but let's get into it, guys. You know, we have a short amount of time and we have a lot to discuss today. So, if you guys tuned in last week, we are going in on the Met Gala. Yes, 2025 Met Gala. And those that don't know, the Met Gala was on Monday. It was May 5th. It's fashion's biggest night out. It's a fundraising benefit for the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Anna Wintour has been doing this event for a couple of years now. I absolutely love her. She is a very nonsense type of person, and I like that about her. She follows her own rules. She doesn't need the most elite people there at the fundraising. I don't know why I can't talk. But you know, I love it. I love that. You know, she's just, there's one interview that I was watching of her, so I was watching her bio, and they were like, she's infamous of wearing her sunglasses, which I am a girl's girl. I love my sunglasses. I don't take my sunglasses off for nobody. But they asked her in an interview, they're like, Anna, are you going to take your sunglasses off? She was like, no, shut that down. Yeah, Anna. I'm the bitch in in this room. I love it. I love it. But let's get down to it. Every year there's a theme to this. Last year, I was a little disheartened because the theme last year was Sleeping Beauty. Now, everybody that knows me knows that I love Sleeping Beauty. She is my favorite Disney princess. There's just something majestic about her that I love so much. I don't know. It was one of those cartoons where I just was just like, okay, this is my girl. This is my princess. I don't know. So, you know, everybody has their thing. Some people love Aladdin, Jasmine. Some people love Cinderella. I always love Sleeping Beauty. So, but the theme last year was New Beginnings, Sleeping Beauty. You've been in the sleep for a really long time. Now it's a new beginning, new fashion. And it was not done, well, I want to say it was a little confusing. I think people were confused on it. So they didn't hit the point on it. But this year, the theme was super fine, tailoring black style looks. I was enamored by a lot of the celebrities that showed up to this event. And just to name a few who I loved, Zendaya, she was wearing Louis Vuitton, completely looked gorgeous. Lupita Nyong wore Chanel. Justice Smith wore Valentino. Diana Ross, queen, yes, I love her whole entire outfit. She did it with Evan Ross, and there was another design. I apologize, I didn't get the name. Lewis Hamilton wore whales. There was a lot of people that were wearing whales on the event, but those were a few of my favorites. I think everyone did justice for the event. Some people I was a little thrown off. I couldn't really understand where they were going because it wasn't really tailored black style to me. And when I think Taylor Black style, I think of a sexier way of a suit. But you know, I don't know. I guess everybody has their own conception of what the look could be. There were, you know, a lot of this year. I kind of felt like it was a 50-50 for me. There were a lot of great celebrities that did justice, like I said, the few that I named. And you guys can look at it. It's in Vogue magazine. But yeah, no, I thought it was a great event. This is a great contribution for fundraising. And, you know, we're always wanting to give back. Now, there is a lot of controversy, though, with the Met Gala. So now you have the elite to the elite that's invited to the Met Gala every year. Believe it or not, there are rules and regulations on this. But before we even go into that, we're gonna, well, why not? Let's just go into it. The rules of the Met Gala. So there are strict rules with this Met Gala. I don't seem to understand. For instance, phones are not allowed. Or you posting on social media. Phones, that's a strict policy where phones are not allowed into the events. And I kind of wonder why that is. Is that, you know, because we only get to really see the dress up part of it. We don't get to see, you know, the inside, the food, how it's decorated, you know, all of that great stuff. It's, you know, kind of mysterious. What is going on in there, Anna? We want to see, we want to know, the fans want to know what's inside. What is the purpose of it being so private in these events? There have been mentions that allegedly people doing adult behavior in there, allegedly, whether or not this is true or not, whatever. There's a lot of people in there. I don't know. But then again, look at the whole Diddy situation, which we are going to get into in a minute. But, you know, I don't understand that. I say, unless you want it professionally photographed, which I would think that would be a great idea. Why not? Why can't we see? But I guess you have to be the elite to get into it. And really, there's a lot of people that don't want to go to the Met Gala. They just don't like the whole dressing up part and dealing with the celebrity part of it. There have been people that have been actually banned from not going to the Met Gala, which is crazy too. So what did you guys do? So basically no phones, no selfies and posting on social media for the event. And you know what? And honestly, I can understand that part of it, because with social media, you can get a little crazy on it. So, you know, again, if you want to do it in a different way and have it more professionally photographed, I think that would be amazing. Let us have that little peek in there of what's actually going on, you know? So the second rule, which is, again, you got to follow the theme. There is a dress code that has to be followed, which honestly, that rule right there makes sense to me, because this is a themed event. So if it's going to be Sleeping Beauty, if it's going to be white tie, if it's going to be black tie, if it's going to be green tie, whatever it's going to be, then for the year. And Anna, I think you should do the Sleeping Beauty theme once again, because I really think that would have been so much more beautiful if it would have just been a little bit more explained and a little bit more detailed on what people were supposed to wear and what that vision was. And I think that's where the curve went. There wasn't a vision that was tied to it. So that's my opinion. I do think you should do the Sleeping Beauty theme again in some type of format in that way. But again, dress code. So the dress code is very, very understandable. Black tie again. And then the third thing is no onions, garlic, or chives. So Anna has a very strict policy that these particular foods cannot be allowed at the Met Gala. First of all, I'm all in with this one. I do not say no to this because honestly, who wants to talk to somebody who has onion breath, garlic breath? I don't understand the whole chives thing, but I don't like chives anyway, so whatever. I can really deal without that. But I'll have to Google what happens with chives. I don't really eat chives at all. But I can understand the reason behind that. Yeah, you don't want to talk to somebody with there's no amount of gum in the world or banaka that can actually take that garlic breath away from you. Hell to the no. And I remember years ago, I was dating somebody and we were gonna have a date and he came to pick me up and he gave me a kiss and he had garlic breath and I was disgusted. I was like, no. We can. He was like, give me a kiss. I was like, and I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I was just like, no. I hate garlic. It smells like feet. I don't like onions. I've had this discussion with many people. And again, the flip side of this is that I do love onion rings, but anytime I have, or like pizza, I like a lot of garlic on my pizza. But I'm going to tell you this, anybody that knows me, I never put garlic on my pizza or on my food when I go out to eat. That is a big, hard no. And if I see you do it, yeah, in my brain, I'm going to be judging you. Just note to self. I am going to be judging you because I'm going to be like, don't come to me, don't talk to me. But I respect everybody's food. They can eat whatever they want to eat, okay? But I know that sounds like an oxymoron right now, but no, you'll never see that happening. I like to eat in my own comfort, so I'm just like, I will pound garlic in my own home because I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not going to be making out with anybody. But So those are basically the hard rules of the Met Gala. Let's talk about the people that were banned from the Met Gala. Donald Trump. I know there was a big, huge thing that came out that Donald Trump was very, very upset because I think Melania wanted to go to the Met Gala, and Anna Wintour is like, no, absolutely no. He is banned from it, and this has nothing to do with a political thing. I don't know what happened. I tried to Google to see what happened, but she basically banned him for life. He is never allowed to go to the Met Gala. Rachel Zoe, I love Rachel Zoe, but then again, she was invited in 2012, so I think that's just gossip. I think that's just her not really wanting to go. Amy Schumer, that I can understand, but Amy Schumer is more of a comedic comedy type of person. Tim Gunn, Gwyneth Paltrow, Zayn Malik, Tina Fey, and Lily Reinhart are the only celebrities that have been banned from the Met Gala. So, unfortunately, this year, with all of those rules being applied, Megan Thee Stallion snuck in her phone, videotaped certain things, put it out on social media, and she broke the rules. So now there is this divide throughout the whole world because honestly, I do love her. I think she has great music, but rules are rules. Now, here's the thing, Anna. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, you invited Kylie Jenner, and she kind of did the same thing where she took her phone out and she took some pictures. It wasn't to the extreme of the way Megan did it this year, because she actually videotaped and put it out there. So now everyone's saying she's banned for life. She's never going to come back. I can't wait for next year to actually see if this is actually going to happen. I'm actually going to be on the edge of my bed seeing if she's invited back. But here's the problem that I have with this. If you ban Megan, then you have to ban the 13 other celebrities who broke those rules, because there were 13 other celebrities that were also taking their cell phones out. And I think this kind of started because Megan, started filming, allegedly. I don't know whether, if that is the case or not, but I'm pretty sure that anybody that's in there, just like myself, I would be like, I want to, take pictures. I want to do but the rules are the rules. And it's not like you're not informed of the rules beforehand. Everybody knows this. This has been a one big thing for many, many, many years. So again, if we ban Megan, we have to ban everybody else to keep it fair. We can't just single out one person and not everybody else. And there can't be this excuse of, well, this person only did this, but she did this, and this. Because again, when you break the rules, there has to be that consequence at the end. So I'm really curious to see if she's going to be invited back and how Anna's going to handle this one, because, girl, the streets are talking. The streets are talking, and people are waiting to see exactly how you're going to handle this one. So, I don't know. All right, well, we have come down to it. So not only was the Met Gala on May 5th, but Diddy's trial started May 5th. So if people do not believe in karma, I think you guys need to start believing in that karma more than ever, because not only was it, black tailored, but this is something that this is what he does. This is his fashion. This is what, we know of him. And, the fact that it was black tailored, the theme, and he's in prison, it just kind of says a lot. So we're in the beginning of the case, which is the boring part, because they're selecting the jury. Apparently now Diddy has hired additional lawyers. He had a lot of his lawyers, his retainers, have quit on him, from what I've been reading. And, that's not a good sign when you're losing lawyer after lawyer after lawyer after lawyer. But at the same time, is it because maybe he felt that they just were not being compassionate enough? I don't know with him. I don't know. The fact that he didn't take the plea deal and he wants this to go to trial says a lot. So a narcissistic person thinks in this way because they've gotten away with so many things throughout their whole life, and because they feel like they're on this high platter, they just, in their mind, it's like, no, I am going to win this. I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to do this. Again, we don't know what's happening with the lawyers and why the lawyers quit. It only tells us or shows us that, okay, well, maybe he's trying to build up a stronger defense. Maybe these allegations are not correct. Maybe these allegations are true, but he needs better attorneys to defend him. We don't know. It's all up in the air. It's all speculation. We don't really know what's going on. So this is what I'm saying. In the beginning of the trial, you can't base too much of the information. we actually need to hear and listen to know exactly what Diddy's side is, and I'm not taking that away from the victim at all, because I am disgusted by everything that I've read, to know that, someone in high power thought that he can be able to get away with this, is pretty disgusting. But again, I'm trying to make it equal so that way I can hear everything and then I can form my own opinion on it. I don't want to just say, oh, he's guilty. He's got a sex problem. We don't really know. But what we do know is that the videos, the celebrity sex tapes, are not going to be released. I am so happy that they're not going to show any children, because honestly, children are so sensitive, especially at a young age, that this is something that, we definitely don't want to show. I don't know how they're going to throw it into the case. That will be interesting. What I would like to see is, first of all, let me back up, because he threw Gloria Estefan's name out there. So now what's happening is, allegedly, is that Diddy is throwing out names of celebrities. So, which we all knew that this was going to happen, because when you have somebody, again, that's a narcissist, that's on top, he's not going to go down without a fight. He's going to start doing whatever he can to clear his name. But here's the backlash of that. So let's just pretend here for a second. He goes free. Now he's out, right? And all the charges, he ends up, whatever the charges end up being, but he's out. Do you think that any of these people are going to look at him and want to do business with him after this case? No, his career is completely over. So either way of however he wants to negate this situation, at the end of it, no one's going to want to touch Diddy after this. Nobody. I knew that Jennifer Lopez, first of all, J-Lo was very, very smart not going to the Met Gala this year. I was so hoping that she would, but the fact that she didn't showed a lot. And, I still kind of feel like Ben Affleck knew something. He knew something. Something happened, something's coming up. Your path always seems to find a way when you do the wrong thing. It has a way of catching up with itself. So they are, J-Lo has, from what I heard allegedly, and what I've read, I don't want to say read, she is a part of the case. They're going to bring up the club situation back in whatever it was. I think it was 1990 or 1992. But he threw a lot of names out there. He threw, Gloria Estefan's name out there, Mike Myers. I want to know what Mike Myers did, because that would be interesting. But Gloria Estefan, don't you know Gloria Estefan? Diddy? She said he was never at my house. Nope. Sorry, no Diddy. So, but, I've seen a couple of the names that are out there. The crazy thing about this whole situation, Cassie is back. She's going to be able to testify about the abuse, which I'm glad, because then it's going to show that he was abusive. He's trying to flip it, though, and say that she was very abusive. So this is going to be very interesting. The one thing that I don't like is, because this is a federal case, we're not going to be able to see it on TV. So it's going to be a lot of what's being out there. And we're going to have to, go see it through different, TMZ and through all these other people, and hear their thing. It's better. I wish they would just show it to us and put it on TV. Let the world see what's happening. Let that be an example that, again, when you give people money, or when you give people power and it's in the wrong hands, God has way of humbling you. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but eventually he will, what he gives us can be easily taken away. This is what has always been said. It's in the Bible, you guys. Whatever religion you want to have, it's the same thing. What you preach is what you sow. So you have to be very, very careful with what you put out there in existence. I wish I had my own show. This would be exciting times right now. One day, right, Jesus? One day. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I can't wait to stay on top of it and see, when I read that he didn't take the plea deal, I said, ugh, I had the worst feeling inside of me. And I said, this is not going to end good for him, because I don't know if he knows what they have on him. And if they have enough, it only takes, one juror. It's just crazy. He's manipulated so many people over the years. And again, you keep hearing people say, and I'm going based off the documentary where the show Making the Bands, where he made the kids go and get the cheesecake over in Brooklyn, and he made them walk. And it was like, and they said it was like, 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And I remember one of the girls saying that, it was such a hard situation, because in one aspect, I did not want to do this, but in the other part of me, if I didn't do this, then I knew I wasn't going to have a career. We're seeing that kind of play out with the whole Karol G documentary on Netflix, who I absolutely love. I think she's beautiful. I think she's really paving the way. She is exactly, what we need right now. But, it goes back to what I said. A lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't be doing that because it's never going to work. And she was just really adamant. She's like, no, this is what I want to do. No matter what, I'm going to fight hard for it. And she worked. And now she's the biggest reggaeton artist out there right now, and that's a man's world. So it doesn't matter how small of a platform you want to have. It really did break my heart that she was saying one of her stories when she was about, I believe it was 14 or 16 years old, and she was working on her music, and she had this manager, and it was her 16th birthday. I'm sorry, 16, yeah. And he wanted to throw her a birthday party, and he openly said to her, I'm falling in love with you, but let me know if the feelings are mutual, because if they're not, then you're not going to have a music career. So when you hear that, you're kind of stunned, because you're like, okay, what do I do? I don't know what to do, because this is my situation. I want to get out of this poverty. I want to do better for myself. And I know that, going in this direction, it's gonna take me far. I'll be able to, if I make it, then I can just, separate myself from this person. And this is the way you think. And this is the way a lot of people psychologically think, and I've had that in my life, which is why I really try to remove myself away from being an actress, because I kept hitting these boundaries with people. And, I've had a lot of people tell me, like, oh, well, you have man issues. I'm like, I don't have man issues. I have problems with men who try to be very dominant, who try to control a situation where I know it does not fit for me. It's not going to work for me. And, the one thing about this show is that I've learned that I have to be a little bit more open with myself and to my public, so that way they can understand, and I can relate to Karol G. I don't know what's going on with me today. I had 2 cups of coffee. I think I'm like out of control right now. But I remember, trying to, get my business started, and I was working with someone, and he was like, why don't we go to dinner? So we would go on these dinners, but we would never talk about business. And I remember one time we went someplace, and he was like, okay, well, and I asked him, I was like, okay, we keep doing these businesses and having these dinners, but there's no business being discussed. What is going on here? And it was mostly the focus on him and working on his career. And he literally got upset because there was no romantic chemistry there between us. So he really wanted to tarnish my reputation. He wanted to, belittle me, to the point where one night we did go out, and this is when we had that conversation, and I went to the bathroom. I came back. I had one little drink, and I almost blacked out. I called my best friend. It was crazy because I could not remember. And I truly, truly do believe that he put something in my drink, because anybody that knows me, I don't get intoxicated. I don't get intoxicated. So the fact that I literally blacked out and could not remember was crazy to me. So, and that's a very, very narcissistic person. Women have to be so careful with how they put themselves out there. And because he didn't get his way, it came back to me from many people that he was like, she was hard to handle. She was a difficult person. She has all these crazy ideas. Okay, that's fine. But in reality, you didn't tell the truth. You didn't explain that you wanted me to be your camera person. You wanted, people to see your show, which is perfectly fine because I'm all about supporting people in their dreams. But if it benefits only you, it's not going to work for me. So, it has to be equal, because the whole point of it was to be a team. So, and from the last time that I remember, there's no I in team. So I can kind of understand how all these victims could be manipulated this way if Diddy was dangling this carrot in front of them. It's like, it has to be this way or you're not gonna get it. So, but again, we don't really know the whole entire story. So we have to kind of see how this plays out a little bit. I don't know. It's going to be very, very, very interesting to see how this case leads up. Again, I wish it was televised, because then we would have more of a vision. We can actually see everything that's going on. Maybe it may change. Who knows? Maybe the judge might be like, hey, but I doubt it. It's like, again, it's a federal case, so. But, here we go. It is over already. I can't believe it goes so fast. So, next week, we are going to, and I have to, guys, I have to. This drama is so crazy. We're going to talk about Meghan Markle and her title, the Royal Duchess of So there is so much to cover. I have so much information. I have so many opinions. I can't wait to get back next week. I hope everybody has a wonderful Saturday. It's going to be beautiful out here in New York. It's supposed to be 73 for Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, all those queens out there. Definitely make sure you, all you guys, do something good for your moms and wives and everything out there. Have a blessed day and have a great weekend. Bye.